welcome to episode 1 of Uplevel Your Life with Mindy. I am Mindy Duff, your host, and I am a certified holistic health and nutrition coach. Just a little tiny bit about me and what I do. I do work with clients one-on-one. I do some group coaching. I do some speaking. I co-authored a book. I do all kinds of stuff. And now podcasting and YouTubing to add to the mix. I'm super excited to start this. The reason why I wanted to delve into the land of YouTube and podcasting is just because I have some information to share with you all. And I felt like this is such a fun way to kind of get some of that information out there. So thanks for joining me on this little journey here today. I'm just not going to mess around. I'm going to dive right into today's topic. And it's actually my work with my clients one-on-one and in the group coachings that has led me to our topic today, which is all about how to make changes, but then how to make them stick, because that we can all make some changes, but the getting them to stick is kind of the big part here. Most clients come to me, not all, but most come wanting to make some kind of change in their diet. And maybe you can relate to that as well. Maybe you've gone on a diet before, tried to lose a couple of pounds, right? Maybe it worked for a while, then you gained it back. That's pretty common too. But whether it's because of a health condition or a new diagnosis, or just wanting to be healthier for prevention, I see a lot of clients that come in and need to make some changes and they need them to stick, right? Occasionally I'll see clients that eat pretty well already. We just need to make a few tweaks to things and then they're good. But most often that's not the case. And we work together to make those pretty big changes usually in what they're eating. Now, here's the kicker. All of my clients who are paying good money to come work with me, they already know what's healthy and what's not. I mean, okay, so sometimes I might throw in a couple little things like, oh, I never heard of that type of food, or I never thought of that before. Sure, that happens. But by and large, they know what's healthy and they know what's not healthy. I say all the time, if I put an apple and an Oreo in front of a kindergartner, they know which one's the healthy choice. So that begs the question, what the heck do they need my help for? Right. And it's, I've been in the same situation, what to do, but why don't we just do it all the time? What is it that makes it so hard about making these changes? And it's not just the clients that I see or my own self, the health and wellness industry is just huge. And I think we all recognize that, particularly, come January, we see it quite a bit more, but the fitness industry, health and wellness, there's just so many people making some good money, whether they're doing productive, helpful things, or whether they're just trying to sell magical pills and things like that. Everybody wants some help because we know what to do, but why the heck can't we do it? And there's absolutely no shame in the people that are looking for the quick fix, because we just want anything that works, right? And I know there was a time in my life where I drank Slim Fast. It's been a hot minute, but I remember drinking the Slim Fast and enjoying the convenience of the can, because it was I didn't have to think about what to eat. It was so easy to just grab it and go. And it says right here, I'm getting all these vitamins and minerals. I can see it on the can. This was a long time ago. I even actually kind of got to where I liked that chalky taste. I don't know if you've ever had Slim Fast or not before, that it's got like that. I don't know why it tastes like that, but I almost got to where I thought I liked that chalky taste of a Slim Fast. Well, what I wasn't looking at was the ingredients, which now that I know better, when you know better, you do better, right? The ingredients are the more important thing than looking at how many vitamins and minerals have they shoved into this can. How many of the ingredients could I actually pronounce out of that can of Slim Fast? Probably water. That was probably it, right? I mean, there are all these like chemical sounding names that, take up half the can. Not really the healthiest option. But even these diets, they're not sustainable, even though, it's convenient to just have to grab a can. That's not a sustainable way to eat. And it's and it's far from healthy. So what's the reason that people are looking for help when it comes to making a change? So and I'm focusing on nutrition here just because I'm a holistic health and nutrition coach. That's kind of my wheelhouse there. But this could be anything. Maybe it's your finances. Maybe this is a change you need to make with relationships. Maybe it's just how you clean your house. I don't know. There's so many aspects of our life that, just aren't quite how we'd like them to be. And we try, and then, for whatever reason, I just can't get on a good laundry cycle to get caught up with the laundry or whatever it is. So today, what I'm going to talk about are 3 areas that you can focus on in terms of making a change and then getting it to stick. Okay. And the first one is all about formulating a good habit, because that's really key here. Habit formation is just so important. And now for those of you that are really interested in forming habits, there's a great book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. I highly recommend that. He does a great job of breaking down all the mechanics of habits and what's happening in your brain and things like that. If you want a little more than just this little podcast that I'm doing here today. So again, Atomic Habits, James Clear. Now, some of you may have thought that I was going to talk about goals, like setting a good goal. And maybe you've set a SMART goal before. That used to be kind of a trendy term for a while. Maybe people still do it. SMART goals are specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, they're timely. You can set a time to when they'll be complete. I missed one in there, but somebody can tell me. I missed a letter. Anyway, goals are important to have for sure. You definitely need to know where you're going. You have to have some kind of an idea of what you're even trying to work on, right? That would be like if you were going to go on vacation and you wanted to go someplace warm, so you just pointed your car south and drove until it looked warm outside and hoped that you landed in someplace that was vacation worthy, right? Okay, we need to do a little bit better than that, I think, with our goals. I've said this a million times, but I'll say it again. Vague goals yield vague results. So if your goals are vague, your results are vague too. Okay, the more specific you can be with it, what is it that exactly that you're trying to accomplish here, the more you can pinpoint that and nail it down, the more likely it is that you're going to actually get it, right? So setting a specific goal is important for sure. But once you've decided what it is that you want, the most important thing is how you're going to get there. Okay. And that's where our habits come into play. When we formulate our habits and that we can do consistently, that's going to get us to our goal. So whether or not you are successful in achieving your goal is totally dependent upon your daily habits. Okay. This is not a once in a lifetime thing. Oh, I attended this one seminar and then I never changed anything else in my life and my life magically turned around. Probably not going to happen that way. Okay. So maybe you might have attend a seminar or listen to some great podcast. And then maybe that might spark something in you, but it's those daily actions every day. That's what's going to make the transformations. And in fact, these daily habits might be and actually should be super small. Okay. Now, in that book that I mentioned, Atomic Habits with James Clear, he gives a great analogy. I love this one of an airplane. So let's imagine an airplane sitting at the airport in LA, and you're on this airplane. It's a big old 747 or whatever kind of plane you like to ride in. And this airplane is going to take you from Los Angeles all the way across the country to New York City, going to the Big Apple. Okay. Now, picture you're down on the ground and really picture how big that plane is. And I want you to go to the nose of the plane. And I want you to watch in your mind them taking that airplane and pointing the nose 3 feet south. Now, how wide is 3 feet? It's not very wide, right? Compared to that giant airplane, 3 feet is so tiny. But if that airplane nose goes 3 feet south and then you hop in the plane and it flies across the country. It's on a different trajectory now. And instead of landing in New York City, you're going to find yourself in Washington, D.C. All it takes was 3 feet. That wasn't very far. And if you're curious, I figured this out. Okay, so Washington, D.C. is 200 miles south of where you wanted to be, which is New York City. But in terms of feet, I thought it'd be interesting, since we moved it only 3 feet, then by the end you'll be 1,056,000 feet south of where you wanted to be. It's a long ways away, right? So again, a very small shift in direction can lead to a very meaningful change in destination. So think of that in terms of your habits. We might think, if it's a bad habit, maybe you have a bowl of ice cream every night after supper. And after 1 day, not a big deal. After 2 days, not a big deal. After 5 years, it's a big deal. That was a lot of ice cream that you ate. That's, added now onto your body in some different places you maybe wish wasn't there anymore, right? So it's those small things, and good habits work the same way. So let's say you start a habit of walking every day, just around the block, but you 1 day, you just went around the block. 2 days, well, you've gone even further. 3 days, even further. And that's going to have that same cumulative effect in a good way on your body. And I know doing these small habits is really hard for us because once you make that decision to make the change, don't you just get really excited and you want to just dive all in, and I'm ready to do all the things. Like, what do I need to do? I see that a lot with clients. We see that, everybody sees that January 1st, people who are so excited. I'm going to eat right this year, and I'm going to work every single day, and I'm going to run 10 miles or whatever it is. And that's great for like a few days, maybe a week if you're lucky. And then just kind of fizzles out, right? Been there, not judging if that's been you. You're in great company, because that's all of us. We've all been there in some form or another. Whether it was weight loss or something with, finances or anything else. But a few things happen when we get so excited and jump in and want to make all the changes all at once. The first is that it's not sustainable. It's just not, because we jumped in and we didn't set ourselves up for success at all. And then 2, we usually don't see results very quickly, depending on what you're working towards, but most of the time, not going to see quick results. And then it gets kind of frustrating, and going to the gym every day or whatever you're doing is hard. And then maybe you're hitting a plateau and you were seeing some results, and now you're just kind of fizzled out for a while. And it might seem boring to work on your habit, and now your goal just seems unattainable. And then we throw in the towel, right? That was too hard. That's too much work. I don't have time for that. So we go back to eating ice cream and watching Netflix after supper, right? But remember, it's the trajectory. So think about the trajectory. It doesn't have to be giant changes all at once. You're better off going smaller, but going smaller in the right direction. Slow and steady wins the race, right? We've learned that a long time ago. So you probably will get to the point where it's boring to eat healthy, or it's boring to go to the gym again. And all the things are going to tempt you. If you have a goal of saving money, you're going to go shopping and you're going to see stuff on sale. You're going to see stuff on sale that is never on sale. You're going to find the best deals ever when you're trying to save money and not spend. That's when you'll find all the stuff that you really need, right? And then you might cave if you're not prepared. You'll be right back where you started. So my next tip is really, really important, and that is to set yourself up for success. And this can be done in a variety of ways. But the first one being to change your environment. And what do I mean by that? So let's go back to the example of making healthier nutrition choices. With my clients that sign on with me, one of the first things that I have them do, and you've maybe done this before, I have them clean out their pantries and their fridge and their purse and their car and that drawer they have hidden away at work, or wherever it is that you keep all the good stuff, right? Go through and you clean out all the junk And so that all you have in your house available to you is healthy stuff. And this is a great time for this activity right away at the beginning, because number one, remember how we talked about being super motivated at the beginning and how we're really excited to jump in and do things. Cleaning out your pantry is kind of a big job, so that's a good time to do that. And clients typically, people, we have the motivation at the very beginning, so we're excited to do something and feel productive, because again, it's a pretty big task. But the second reason that this is a great time to do it at the beginning is because we're setting up our environment. We want to set our environment up for success, obviously. So it's much harder to eat something unhealthy if it's not in your house, right? Now, I'm not saying it's not possible. It's just harder, and we want to make it harder. We want to make healthy eating the easiest choice. So think like, oh, I really want ice cream. I'm way easy to get in my car and drive to Dairy Queen. So I guess I'll just eat this banana because here it is. Right? That's fine. It's not that, a lot of times people who are we think naturally healthy eaters, or, oh, you're so slender and how do you do it? You must never crave junk food. It's not that they don't crave it. It's just they stay away from it, and they're able to do that sometimes easier than others. So it's easier to avoid temptation than it is to resist it. Okay. If your next door neighbor is always bringing brownies next door to you, that's hard to resist, because Doris's brownies are the best brownies. Everybody knows that. It'd be hard to turn that down. But if Doris brings you over, fresh kale from her garden, that's, again, we're on a different trajectory. Okay. We want the healthy eating to be the easy choice. So we have to set the environment up to support that. So think about in your own life. Do you have a bad habit of stopping at McDonald's every day? Okay. Is it on your way home from work and you just kind of swing by there? Take a different route home from work. I don't care if it's, 5 miles the opposite direction. Just do whatever it takes to avoid whatever that trigger is for you. Maybe it's more of a positive habit that you're trying to instill. Like maybe you want to do more yoga. Or go running more often. Set your yoga mat out. Don't keep it rolled up all the time underneath, in the back of your closet. Roll your yoga mat out, or get your running shoes out and put them right where you're going to see them, where you're just about to trip over them if you don't put the darn things on, right? When you see it, you're going to be more likely to do it if it's a positive habit like that. Want to drink more water? This is one that if you know me, I struggle with this. Carry a water bottle with you everywhere you go. I know I don't always hit my goal for drinking water, but when I carry it with me, I'm more likely to drink it. I know I drink more when I have it with me, because if I don't have it, how can I drink it, right? So again, a small change in what you see can have such a large impact on what you actually do. So are we seeing a pattern here? It's all about small changes, little tweaks in your day, just like that airplane moving 3 feet in a different direction. You want to be on the right trajectory. I think Robin Sharma said small practices, I'm going to butcher this, something about small practices daily yield massive results. And that's absolutely on point there, which leads me to my next tip, which is to get in the habit of doing your habit. That's weird. What does that mean? Okay, so you want to start small. And that's what I mean by getting in the habit of doing your habit. So let's use the example of going for a walk after dinner. So you want to set this habit where every night after dinner, you go for a walk. So you have to tell yourself, okay, once the dishes are done, so that's kind of your trigger so that you know when it's going to happen. Once the dishes are done, I will put on my walking shoes and I'll go for a walk. But at the beginning, all you're going to do is just put your shoes on. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's all that you tell yourself. All I have to do is put my shoes on. And once that becomes, okay, yeah, once I'm done with the dishes, I know I go put my shoes on. That's just become a habit. Kind of like some people, as soon as they take a shower, they brush their teeth. That's just the first thing they do. You want it to be a habit like that. So maybe once you've gotten the habit of getting your shoes on, then you walk to the end of the driveway. That's all you have to do. Just to end your, I don't care how long or short your driveway is, just walk to the end of the driveway. And then once that becomes a habit, then you can start working on how far you're going to walk or how long you're going to walk for. But you need to get in the habit of doing the habit. Otherwise, it's going to get really easy to forget or to talk yourself out of it. At the beginning, it's pretty hard. If all you have to do is put your darn shoes on, that's pretty hard to talk yourself out of, right? Unless you're thinking, well, this is ridiculous. Okay. Just don't think that. It's not ridiculous. You need to be in the habit of getting into that habit. So, yeah, start small, baby, little micro steps, even. It's not even a baby step. Again, so that you don't talk yourself out of it. And then it just becomes second nature. And then you can start, again, building on that. Maybe you never eat a vegetable. Maybe you hate vegetables. You want to start eating more vegetables. So, but you do like carrots at least, right? So maybe you're going to tell yourself, okay, when I sit down and eat dinner, before I eat the main course, I will eat a vegetable. And you start doing that every single day. That's your trigger. Before the meal, before my main course, I eat some vegetables. And then it becomes a habit. Okay. Also tying it to another habit that you already do can be beneficial as well. If you're someone that is trying to find a time to meditate, maybe after I brush my teeth, because I know I brush my teeth every day, then I'm going to sit down and meditate for 5 minutes. Okay. Something like that. So tying it to the other habit, starting really, really small, little micro habits here. Another thing that can help is getting a habit tracker. And I don't mean like a fitness tracker. I mean, a habit tracker. You can make these yourself. You can Google them, Google habit trackers. There's a lot free on Pinterest. Really, it's just a chart. It's like a glorified like sticker chart from when we were in elementary school, but they work, darn it. And I'll be darned if I don't love checking that box or coloring it in every time I complete my habit for the day. It's so satisfying. So if you're not quite sure what I'm talking about, so basically to think of it in a very basic level, you're going to write down your habit. Let's say my habit is going for a walk 5 days a week. Okay. So maybe I have this little graph, this little chart, and I'll make 5 boxes for the week. And every day that I go for a walk, I can put a sticker on it, I guess, if I want, or I can color in that box so I can visually see my progress. Oh, look, I can easily look and see I walked for 3 days this week just by looking at how many boxes are colored in. Now, again, it seems pretty basic, but man, can that be motivating? I do want to caution you about a couple things with the habit trackers. It's great to track more than one habit, but you only want to track how do I want to say this? You only want one to be like a hard one. Okay. So let's say I really want to work at drinking more water. So that's my habit I'm going to really focus on. And maybe I want to put on there, I should track how many times I walk a week, even though I know I'm probably going to hit that every week or be really close. It's not something I have to focus on. So don't put in all these habits that are like really hard and brand new because you're going to overwhelm yourself. You only want to start small. So focus on that water, but then if you've got a habit on there as well that you're probably going to do okay at, then you get in that habit of going to the habit tracker and you get that satisfying, okay, well, I didn't get all my water, but I get to check the box where it says that I went for a walk, but it's still drawing your attention to the water as well. So have one on there that's kind of a harder one that you're working on, and then maybe a couple little for fun ones that just let you color in the boxes. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's the way our brains work. We want that reward system to fire in our brains when we're doing that. So habit trackers, look them up, use them. Let me know how you like them. Sure. The final thing that I wanted to talk to you about today is possibly the most important in terms of making that habit stick. And that is your identity shift. How you see yourself will directly impact whether you're successful at reaching your goals or not. Here's what I mean. I'll go back to food just because I see this a lot. Let's say we have a person who is a little overweight and they want to lose, 20 pounds, but they view themselves as unhealthy. I hear this type of language when I talk to some of my clients. They say things like, well, I've always been a little overweight, or I've been this way a long time. I'm just kind of unhealthy. And that's how they see themselves. But what I challenge them to do is to make that identity shift to being a healthy person. But you have to see it now. And it will feel weird, and it will feel like you are lying to yourself, because you might be thinking, well, Mindy, I am clearly not a healthy person. I do have 20 pounds to lose, or whatever your goal is that you're working on. But if you start to see yourself as, I am a healthy person starting right now, starting this very second that you are hearing me say these words, if you start to identify, tell yourself, I am a healthy person. Then when you go to eat your next meal, ask yourself, well, I'm a healthy person. What would a healthy person eat? And then eat it. Or what would a healthy person not eat? And then don't eat that. It's going to feel weird. It feels like lying to yourself. But when you can start to shift and make that change in your brain of, hey, you know what? Maybe I used to be that way, but I decided I'm not anymore. It may take a while for your physical exterior to catch up with what's going on up in your brain, but it will happen. Again, small daily practices and habits, telling yourself, I'm a healthy person. This is what I do now. Or if your goal is, I'm a financially secure person. And what would a financially secure person do? Would they make this big purchase? Or would they keep that money in the bank? Would they make this investment? I'm a financially secure person. This is what I do now. Maybe I wasn't financially secure 5 minutes ago, but I decided right now, gosh darn it, I am financially secure. And this is where I start. Okay. That identity shift is so important. Along with that, you do want to avoid feeling deprived. So now that doesn't mean, okay, if you listen to what I just said there and went, sweet, we can eat Oreos. No, that's not what I mean at all. You want to avoid feelings of deprivation. So that's why a lot of times, maybe you've been there. I know I have. You go on a diet and it doesn't work because I want chocolate cake. I'm sorry. It's delicious and I like it. And that's me speaking from the heart right there. I love me some chocolate cake. I hardly ever eat chocolate cake, but I do enjoy it because it's tasty. But with the identity shift, if you become a healthy person, healthy people don't eat chocolate cake every day. Okay. Healthy people may occasionally, once in a blue moon, yeah, I am going to have that piece of chocolate cake and I'm going to enjoy it. A healthy person might do that. And you can do it too. Okay. But a healthy person doesn't deprive themselves. They know that almost 80 is that 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, they're going to eat really healthy things. And maybe 20% of the time, they're going to eat more fun things. Okay. And we can get more into that at another day. But that identity shift is what's going to help with the feelings of deprivation, because you don't want to tell yourself, oh, I can never have chocolate cake ever again. Oh, that's not going to work. You're going to crash and burn at some point in time. And you may know that you've maybe been there before in your life. I know I have. Someday I'll tell you the story about the Whole30 that I did. It's not good. That's a story for another day. Anyway, so identity shift. How do you see yourself? And maybe if you're somebody who journals, take a little time and journal on that. How do you see yourself now? How do you want to see yourself? And then start making that shift. It's not going to happen overnight. It won't. But the key is awareness. So you have to start somewhere. So the more you can notice how you view yourself, the more you'll be able to change those beliefs. Okay. Well, there you have it. There are my top 3 tips on making a change and getting it to stick. Again, focus on building small habits. We want to be on that right trajectory. Set yourself and your environment up for success. and shift your identity. And those three things should help you just succeed in life, up leveling your life even. So thank you for so much for tuning in on this today. I have lots of really exciting episodes planned for the future here. So definitely be sure to come back. I have some exciting guest speakers that I can't wait to chat with, all in terms of health and how can we live a little bit better. So how can we kind of up level our lives just a little bit? So again, thanks so much for listening today and up leveling with me. And I hope you have a great one.